Recently, my newsfeed has been filled with shocking headlines about how shocked an entire industry is, how they stood with mouth agape, drooling, tongue wagging, how incredibly advanced AI has moved, except that is just not true. No one is perpetually shocked in the AI field about the progress that's being made. And if they really were shocked, either they're brand new to the field or they're in the wrong field, because if they're getting shocked that often, I think they're an electrician. All humor aside, no. Most of these advancements that have been demonstrated, like Devon being the programmer that can do 13.5% of all programming tasks, or you have the situation with, robots doing parkour and loading trucks with Boston Dynamics, or the AI model that is able to provide people apples in the real world. None of that is shocking. In fact, it's very predictable, sometimes years in advance. And it's very easy to see when you're in the industry, because if you are in the industry, you are spending a boatload of time looking at the latest research in order to get a better idea about where to move forward. Because if you see cool ideas being done in the research field, it isn't that far away from it actually showing up in the real world. And that's the case that's happened here. So, did I see Devon coming? Oh, yes. If you've been watching my show for some time, I talked about Devon before Devon was even in place. Did we know about robots being able to provide apples to people? Oh, of course I talked about that in my previous episodes. And it may seem like I'm able to predict the future, but in reality, no, these were papers that were put out sometimes months, if not years ago, that are finally actually seeing real world application and use, where we have the AI with large multimodal models able to be put into what was being done by LLMs prior. And in reality, this is not surprising, because multimodal models are just a fusion of initially what the AI industry was focusing on, which was object detection, where your camera is able to look at scenery or people and is able to identify people based off of certain traits, or identify objects off of certain traits, because that's originally where the AI world got started, long time ago. And then it shifted to text, and now there's a fusion of text and vision together with large multimodal models. And the next step, from large multimodal models is large action models. And Rabbit kind of talked about this, but they didn't get into too much detail. But the idea is there, in that they want the AI to be able to see something, come up with the plan, execute on the action, and then this is the hard part, delivering results. And we see that in the real world right now, because you can, on your phone, fire up the GPT app, ask it, hey, I need to be somewhere at XYZ time, and this is what I'm doing. And it will come up with an action plan about how to do it, but it won't be able to put it in your calendar. So it's missing that last part, which is being able to execute on it. And that's where AI in many ways needs a body, which is what the startup I'm working on is creating that digital body, because AI is digital native. But it also kind of highlights the point that beyond a multimodal model is a large action model that's able to take action. But we're not there yet, though we are rapidly getting there. So if we're able to see these advancements coming, how does that allow us to say, what does AGI look like today? Well, it's an interesting situation. If you were to look back in time, events very clearly stand out, and you could write this nice, beautiful historical narrative about how this event led to that event, so on and so forth. But it's surprisingly difficult in the present to determine what history gets recorded, because as we know about all history, it's written by the victors, and there's always two sides. So if one side was victorious, thus they wrote the history, what happened to the other side, right? What was their viewpoint? What were they believing? And what did they write about themselves? That seems to get lost into history. So with AGI, there's a lot of discussion. Did we hit it yet? Did we not hit it yet? Let me just settle the debate here from my show. Yes, we hit it in 2024. When multimodal models finally became commercially available for people to use is when we got AGI. So that was early 2024. And in fact, it was very easily viewable because a lot of experts were predicting the future. But if you looked at the research that was being done, they were talking about what they were able to achieve with multimodal models in the lab before they came out. So you could actually get a very interesting viewpoint of what the future is. And that's why I'm saying that multimodal models need to be plugged into a body. Large action models are able to use that body to do the work. And that's really the last step that needs to be accomplished for people to say, wow, this is really taking off. We're getting there. We're getting there. Anyways, I'll give it to you straight each week. Catch you guys in the next episode.